Good day, everyone. Welcome to another installment of our Power Insights video series. I'm Darrell Proctor, Associate Editor for Power Magazine, and today I'm speaking with Pablo Diaz, the founder and CEO of Direct Solar America, a subsidiary of Single Point, an investment company focused on new technologies, including solar power. Single Point and Direct Solar have teamed up to provide cost-effective solar power systems. Welcome, Pablo. And I'll start by asking, how did you become a proponent of solar power?
So let me maybe give you the historical reference on how I accidentally got into solar. We were been in real estate investments for about 2 decades now, and part of our business model was a general contracting division to build our investments. In that process, we had won a bid with a quite beautiful resort here in Arizona called Legacy Golf Resort, and they wanted to build a sports academy, really advanced videography, so professional athletes could go there and practice their swings and whatnot. In that process, they wanted a solar bid portion to their sports academy that we were building. Took a lot of time to learn a lot about solar, and in the end, they didn't take the solar portion of the build, but it moved us into that forum and that business industry. This was in 2010, by the way. So really, solar's been around since 2008 when Solar City came out with a lease financing function, right? The capital started moving into the space. So been in it since its inception, if you will, since it really reintegrated itself back into the economy marketplace. And since then, since 2010, I just, there's 3 reasons why I love solar. The customer wins. They're always in a better financial position after we leave the interaction, the transaction. So they win economically. We win financially. It's always a financial benefit to the company, and the environment wins, right? So it's a win-win-win. Very few places and industries that I know in the American capitalism marketplace that everybody wins. Usually someone has to take a bit of bite in the shorts, and not in this scenario. Everybody wins. So I love the industry. I love what how it makes me feel to help people and their day-to-day lives, and I love helping the environment. So win-win-win.
How's your business been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic? Have you seen some supply chain disruptions and equipment shortages, maybe labor shortages?
So each state, solar is always regional, right? That's because the subsidiaries that occur on a regional basis. There are city subsidies, state subsidies, utility subsidies. Because of that, it's different on a per location basis. We're currently in 35 states. So in Illinois, as an example, they haven't removed their full lockdown governor mandate. So installs are allowed there, but new transactions are more controlled. Going to people's homes to sell solar has been stopped currently. But in places, as an example, like in Texas, well, we have a lot more mobility over there. We have teams going out and creating business, and they have the capacity to do that. So it's on a regional per state basis, the capacity to continue the business. Supply chains have taken naturally a hit. It's just because it's world events that the pandemic has shut down to some degree. Labor capacities in nations because a lot of our panels and materials being sourced from countries around China, right? There's the tariff scenario that's going on there, but supply chains are fast and mobile and smart. They maneuver. All right, we won't send everything to China. We'll send everything to Vietnam and get everything to the U.S. So the industry adapts quickly. Yes, there's been some negative ancillary and to be expected results from a world shutdown from the pandemic. But let me share what did occur also. Capitalism being what it is, the innovation that we have in the U.S. marketplace, it drove us the shutdown to create a new communication medium. Right now, we're doing it now. This Zoom scenario. Well, there was not probably 99% of solar transactions in the U.S. occurred through an in-person scenario. With the countrywide shutdowns that we were occurring, the market had to develop a webinar experience. What that did for us, we were actually, Direct Solar of America was just interviewed by one of the most prolific green magazines in the nation, Green Tech Media, because of the infrastructure that we built on our webinar. So we sell now via a webinar experience. We built all the infrastructure. We were forced to do it because of market conditions. And now it's something that's never gonna go away. And we're, you know, it's one of, you gotta, glass has to be half full. The glass has to be half full versus half empty. You gotta find the best scenario to live through these type of realities. And, you know, having lived through 2008, which was horrific, you learn to be creative. Positives and negatives, my man, hills and valleys.
Gotcha. How does your company work with commercial customers in terms of, does somebody come to you and say, we would like to do solar with our business? You know, how does that process get started with your company?
Absolutely. So there's two divisions that work in the commercial space. Direct Solar of America, our commercial developer, there we develop projects. So as an example, if a hotel or a commercial building are interested about solar, and we connect via one of our lead generation infrastructure mechanisms that we have, then we start educating them on the benefits of solar for their building. The other business division that we have is Direct Solar Capital. They structure the capital for these commercial endeavors. And Direct Solar Capital not only structures the capital for Direct Solar Commercial, but for any developer nationwide. So Direct Solar Capital works with contractors and developers nationwide to help them. We have a syndication of funders that specifically fund in a spectrum of the solar world that has been neglected for years. It's transactions that are worth $100,000 to about $2 million. There's been very little structured capital there. And the reason that is because when Wall Street looks at a project that, you know, it's worth $400,000, $500,000, well, that's the same amount of money. That's the same amount of work as trying to put a deal that's worth $10 million, right? There's a lot more juice in that $10 million transaction than there is in that $400,000 transaction, but they're both the same amount of work. So Wall Street has left that huge open potential marketplace wide open. It's still developing. So anything between $100,000 in valuation to $2 million has been an abandoned capital bucket of, if you will, of capital, and we're trying to fill that space. We are filling this space. So we from soup to nuts, we're there for the commercial customer. We help them develop the project, see what they need, see what's best for them, and then we help them find their best capital solution so they can come out of pocket $0. That's our whole goal. Don't write a check. Let's structure the capital for you so you have net zero upfront costs.
So let's talk a little bit before we wrap up here. The future of solar power, you know, investment tax credits. The advocates for solar have lobbied Congress to continue and increase support for renewable energy. We know that the cost for solar is dropping worldwide. Do you see that you know, the momentum that had been established when we come out of the pandemic, that, you know, the growth of the industry will continue? I think a lot of analysts you know, are wondering in terms of overall renewables where things are going to go as we move forward. But are you among those who think that renewable energy, and in particular solar, it will be a big part of jumpstarting the economy again?
Sir, I believe we are going through an energy transformation. There are great times in our historical business history when you look backwards and you see these technological shifts. And then these great technological shifts is when a lot of the newest millionaires are made, right? You replace the old guard with the new guard. Yes, 100% we are transitioning from fossil fuels to alternative energy. Every country on the planet has signed on to the Paris Climate Agreement. It is only a matter of time before we get back into that form, because we have to control the policy there. Energy is one of the 5 pillars of capitalism, right? If we don't control that policy table there, then we're not going to be pushing our agenda. So I think it's regardless of what administration comes into the space, it's here to stay. It almost doesn't even need the subsidies, to be quite honest. States are picking up subsidies. South Carolina they realized in South Carolina, North Carolina, they passed a law in South Carolina that the grid is constantly going out there because of hurricanes. They realized that they passed a law. They're going to give homeowners a rebate, the money to put a battery in their home. So that way, if the grid goes out, the homeowner still has energy. It's cheaper to do that versus going and building $1 billion energy production facility, right? It's much cheaper just to give the customer energy battery backup systems versus building $1 billion energy production facility. South Carolina's just brought that on. California just signed legislation they put almost $800 million towards energy battery backup systems in Northern Arizona Northern California for the same reasons. You have wildfires there, the grid goes down all the time, customers are without power. It's a lot cheaper to just, rebate a battery system, which creates economy, which creates, creates movement of capitalism, movement of enterprise, and you're creating business and customers are getting a solution without the utility in the state having to invest $1 billion to have that backup solution for energy. So all over through the nation, and we do that. Part of our business model is to follow legislation, right? We could call it the solar wave. We kind of wave through the different states as new legislatures popping up, and everybody is transitioning. If you don't get into the model, you don't get those new revenue sources for the state. It's just becoming its own tidal wave, where even if the ITC credit went away, which what our analysis is with our industry experts is that it will be reintegrated back into the industry. It creates a lot of business. There's just too many positives. So strongly believe that solar is not going anywhere. Alternative energy certainly, and it's exciting times for us in our space. We're at the beginning, barely at the inception. There's less than 2% penetration nationally. Oh goodness, it's it's an open marketplace.
Yeah.
So we're excited.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much for sharing that excitement with us today and your insights as part of our Power Magazine Video Insights series. And thanks again, Pablo Diaz of Direct Solar America, a subsidiary of Single Point, again, an investment company dealing with new technologies and specifically with solar power. Thanks to everyone watching today. And we look forward to the next installment of our Power Insights series. Thanks, Mr. Diaz, and thanks to everyone for watching today.
Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure.